going to go down the panel here, and I want to ask you, when we talk about inside and outside strategy, what do you see as a movement out there in America right now? Not you, but a movement out there in America right now that's doing something that's really important, that needs to come to the center of the action.
There are a lot of.
And just to make you, so I'll say that you're going to name your second move. You know, there's someone out there that is more deserving, but you're going to talk about one.
Yeah. Well, obviously, they're at the progressive. Actually, there are many really great groups, but there's two that I mentioned on here at least 3 or 4 times a week. And one is pdamerica.org, and the other is movetoamend.org. And Move to Amend is a totally grassroots operation. It's running on a shoestring. They are doing really, really great work trying to create an amendment to the Constitution to say corporations are not people and money is not speech. And just a real quick story?
Yeah.
Okay. Move to Amend came into being as a result of a group of us. I was supposed to be there, and I bailed out for, anyway, I couldn't be there. But in Jonathan Freeman's living room in San Rafael, and David Cobb and a bunch of other activists, a bunch of those of us who had worked on the Caskey versus Nike case back when I was writing on equal protection, came together to do this. And Jonathan Freeman has a family foundation, which is a corporation. He inherited some money, he's got a family foundation. So, and he's been very active in this anti-corporate personhood movement for a long time. So a couple of months ago, he took his family foundation papers, put them in the glove compartment of his car, and went out and drove in San Rafael, went out on the highway and got in the HOV lane, you know, the 2 persons or more lane, and drove up and down for a couple of hours a day, day after day after day after day, waiting to get stopped. Finally, 2 weeks ago, a cop pulled him over. Jonathan has been doing this for months. Finally, a cop pulls him over and he says, "You got to have 2 persons in your car." And it literally says persons on the sign, right? And Jonathan says, "I have a second person right here in my glove box." And he pulls it out and says, "This is a person." And the cop says, "What are you talking about?" And so Jonathan shows him the actual traffic statute. The traffic statute is predicated by saying a person, for purposes of this, is a person or a human being or a corporation. He says, "Here it is right here." Cop didn't buy it. He goes to court. The judge throws it out. Jonathan is appealing it now. It is becoming high theater. You know, more of this kind of stuff we can do. This is the kind of stuff that Move to Amend.
John Marvel. Lori Wallach, tell us about somebody. You know, we know Gold Trade. Public Citizen Gold Trade Watch is the most important, best group ever. But tell us about some group, grassroots group, whatever, out there that's doing something that ought to be, we ought to know about.
I actually think there are 2 I would flag would be incredibly successful and inspiring. One is the fairly ad hoc coalition that came together that stopped SOPA. So,
yeah.
You know, the big content, Disney, the Hollywood lobby, very powerful, were pushing that bill. And it was stopped in the Senate, and that was really inspiring. And a lot of the things that they did, I think, are lessons for all of us on other issues. And because the other group I would say that is really inspiring are the Dreamers. So when I look, and I'm just moved by the power of what has been done there. And that's, you know, to me, it's a lesson to all of us because, you know, it's like, it's the kids. I wish I had the sophistication, the organizing savvy, the capacity to actually have transformed an issue when I was the age of so many of the young people who, in a way, I think have all schooled us all. So that's a movement I've been actually paying a lot close attention to try and figure out a thing or two because I feel like I have some things to learn. And, you know, and again, effective. Because I'm looking, there are a lot of amazing, you know, a lot of groups doing a lot of amazing work, and they're doing really good work, and, you know, for no reason of their own, they may or may not get the outcome they want. And then I try and see what makes that next step of a difference. You know, sometimes it's fluke factor, but sometimes it's not. That has a really good set of thoughtful, strategic, passionate, hard work happening, and then it translates. And so those would be 2 I'd flag.
So Mark Pocan, tell us about what you're looking at.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I mean, it's tough because Move to Amend I'm working with right now on a constitutional amendment, and I agree they've done a great job of putting it on the ballot and actually having people have a say. I have a real personal affinity for the Gay Straight Alliance for Safe Schools, stopping bullying in schools. It's a really great organization. But I want to focus on the group I mentioned a little bit just because of the work they do, Center for Media and Democracy out of Madison, Wisconsin. They do the ALEC Watch, which really, when no one else was doing it, they came and put some time in to do it. Bankster USA, trying to talk about the financial transaction fee and all of the excesses that happened and the problems that happened with that. They really talk about corporate spin in government propaganda, and they're out there on a regular basis. You can get a lot of information that's very helpful, combining a lot of issues. And I always love it when they decide to come to Madison, Wisconsin to actually house themselves. So Center for Media and Democracy is a group that I would point out, and look at all the subgroups that are with them, and I'm sure you'll find some things within your interest area.
Congressman Raul Grahal.
Thank you. And Public Citizen, not only an ally, but at least in my time, they're a resource and an organization that you can strategize with. And those are far in between sometimes, and very appreciative of what they do for us. Let me go with what I said. The Dreamers and Dream Coalition. Let me tell you why. These young men and women changed the whole definition of this immigration, quote-unquote, debate. They risked their futures, their families' futures, civil disobedience, occupying senators and members' offices, pushing everyone to look at immigration in a different light. And they might not get the credit they deserve, but we're in this conversation because of that. And then back home, we took it a step further. Even though they can't vote, they committed themselves to campaigning, elected members of city council, school board members, helped elect yours truly, and now taking that same passion into the electoral side. Smart move. And I have a great deal of admiration because the risk, you have to appreciate the risk. It's not just them, it exposes their families and everybody else. And I give them a lot of props because we wouldn't be having this conversation about immigration if they hadn't taken the risk for that whole community. Was unbelievable.
Congressman Raul Grahal, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been impressed and moved and all sorts of other good things by this panel. I hope you have been as well. And I want to emphasize to you, you've listened to what they've said. They haven't just given you ideas, they've also told you where to go and where groups to hook into. And I hope you'll do that. I hope you'll give one more great round of applause to Tom Hartman.